What if the future was already written, hidden in cryptic texts whispered by mystics or carved into ancient traditions? From secret Vatican vaults to Native American prophecies, humanity has always tried to glimpse what's coming. And while most predictions fade into myth, some are eerily aligning with events unfolding today. Stay with me until the end, because the final prophecy, Fatima's chilling third secret, is one that has shaken popes, silenced the Vatican, and still terrifies millions. Welcome to Singularity Animations, your gateway into the mysteries of hidden knowledge, lost history, and the forbidden truths of our world. If you're ready to journey beyond the veil, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. 10. The Sibylline Books, Rome's Mysterious Guides. We begin in ancient Rome, where kings and senators turned to something far stranger than politics, the Sibylline Books. These were said to be written by a mystical woman, the Sibyl, who offered 9 prophetic volumes to King Tarquin. When he refused her high price, she burned 6 of them before his eyes, leaving only 3. Terrified, Tarquin bought the remaining ones, and they became Rome's most guarded treasure. Locked away in the Temple of Jupiter, priests consulted them during crises, invasions, plagues, disasters. The prophecies were cryptic, warning of floods, wars, even the fall of Rome itself. Strangely, some verses are said to describe global empires rising and collapsing in cycles, a warning that nations, no matter how powerful, will crumble. Today, fragments suggest warnings of ecological collapse and fire falling from the sky. Was this just metaphor, or a glimpse at environmental destruction in modern warfare? 9. Nostradamus' lesser-known predictions. Everyone knows Nostradamus for his vague quatrains about wars and leaders, but few realize some of his lesser-known predictions feel chillingly close to our time. For instance, he wrote of a great war in the north, where iron birds darken the skies. Many interpret this as aerial combat, unthinkable in the 16th century. Another obscure quatrain speaks of the earth growing hotter and seas swelling over, cities, which some scholars now tie to climate, change and rising seas. What makes Nostradamus so haunting isn't just accuracy, it's the ambiguity. Did he see literal events, or are we bending his words to fit? Either way, people still turn to him whenever the world faces a crisis. And unsettlingly, many of his quatrains set their climax around the years we're living in now. The Hopi Prophecies. The blue star Kachina among the Hopi, one of America's oldest indigenous tribes. Prophecy is woven into their spiritual tradition. Elders speak of a time when the world will undergo its great purification. One of the most striking visions is the arrival of the blue star Kachina. According to prophecy, when this celestial being dances in the plaza, it will mark the beginning of the end times. Some believe this refers to a supernova, or even the appearance of an unfamiliar object in the sky, possibly a comet or a star turning nova. The Hopi also spoke of roads in the sky, airplanes and satellites, cobwebs covering the earth, telecommunication lines, and the sea turning black, oil spills. These visions, passed down for centuries, eerily describe the modern world. Are we already in the stages of their great purification? 7. Mother Shipton's visions. In 16th century England, a woman known as Mother Shipton became infamous for her wild predictions. Born in a cave and branded a witch, she supposedly foretold events like the Great Fire of London and the rise of technology centuries before their invention. Her verses describe carriages without horses, cars, ships beneath the sea, submarines, and men flying in the sky or airplanes. She even warned of iron beasts crossing the land, railways, and a great serpent of steel encircling the world, which sounds like today's global internet cables and satellites. But the darker side of her prophecies spoke of global turmoil, earthquakes, floods, and the end of an age where the world to an end shall come in 1881. That date has long passed, but some believe she wasn't wrong, just mistranslated. Perhaps her words point to a catastrophic shift not yet fulfilled. St. Malachi's prophecy of the Pope's one of the most unsettling prophecies comes from the 12th century Irish bishop St. Malachy. While visiting Rome, he allegedly had a vision of every future pope, by motto, symbol, or trait, until the very last one. According to Malachy, only 112 popes would reign before the final judgment. The 111th pope was Benedict XVI, whose motto, Glory of the Olive, fit eerily with his choice of name, Benedictines being linked to the olive branch. The 112th Pope, described as Peter the Roman. Today we have Pope Francis, who, while not named Peter, did take the name Francis of Assisi, whose father's name was Pietro. The prophecy ends with chilling words. In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there shall sit Peter the Roman, who shall feed his flock in many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city shall be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. Is the papacy now at its final chapter? 5. The Kolbrin Bible, a warning of the destroyer, hidden in obscurity. The Kolbrin Bible is a mysterious collection said to have survived ancient disasters, preserved by Celtic and Egyptian priests. Within its pages lies a terrifying prophecy, the return of the destroyer, described as a fiery celestial body that passes near Earth every few millennia. It's said to cause floods, earthquakes, and mass destruction. Ancient scribes claimed entire civilizations were wiped out during its last approach. Modern believers link this destroyer to the idea of Planet X or Nibiru, a rogue planet or brown dwarf star rumored to pass through our solar system. Whether myth or misunderstood astronomy, the Kolbrin warns humanity that ignoring past catastrophes will leave us unprepared for the next. Hindu predictions of the Kali Yuga. In Hindu cosmology, time moves in cycles called yugas. According to scriptures, we're living in the Kali Yuga, the final and darkest age. It is described as an era of greed, war, corruption, and spiritual decline. Texts like the Vishnu Purana describe shocking parallels with our world. Leaders who lie and exploit, people driven by money and desire, nature ravaged, and society collapsing into chaos. Sound familiar? The Kali Yuga lasts 432,000 years, but some traditions believe we're approaching its climax, an apocalypse that will destroy the corrupt world so that a new golden age can begin. The scary part? The signs they predicted: climate collapse, moral decay. Endless wars are everywhere today. The Mayan 13 Baktun cycle beyond 2012, the world held its breath in 2012. When the Mayan long count calendar ended its 13th Baktun cycle, many thought it meant the apocalypse. When nothing happened, the prophecy was dismissed as hype. But Mayan scholars clarify, the 13 Baktun cycle wasn't about the end of the world, but the end of an era. The Mayans believed history moves in cycles of rebirth. The last time a cycle ended, great societal shifts occurred. Empires fell, cultures transformed. So what if 2012 wasn't the end but the turning point? Since then, the world has entered unprecedented upheaval. Political chaos, technological revolutions, pandemics, climate change. Perhaps we are living through the transformation the Maya foresaw. Not instant destruction, but a slow unraveling before renewal. Edgar Cayce and the Pole Shifts, known as the Sleeping Prophet, American mystic Edgar Cayce gave thousands of psychic readings in the early 20th century. Among them were terrifying visions of Earth's poles shifting. Cayce predicted violent climate changes, oceans flooding coasts, parts of Europe disappearing, and a new land rising in the Pacific. He even foresaw New York sinking beneath rising waters. What once sounded absurd now resonates with scientific warnings of polar instability and sea level rise. Some scientists argue Earth has experienced pole shifts in the past, flipping magnetic fields and reshaping the planet. Cayce's timeline suggested this upheaval would begin in the early 21st century, our time. Could accelerating climate disasters be the first signs? Fatima's third secret, the prophecy that terrified the Vatican, and now, the prophecy you've been waiting for. In 1917, 3 shepherd children in Fatima, Portugal, claimed to see the Virgin Mary, who revealed 3 secrets. The first 2 were revealed decades later, a vision of hell and a prediction of World War II. But the third secret was withheld for decades, guarded by the Vatican. When it was finally published in 2000, it described a vision of a bishop dressed in white, walking through a ruined city before being killed by soldiers. The Vatican linked it to the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II. But many believe the true third secret was never revealed. Rumors persist that the hidden message spoke of mass apostasy within the church, global destruction, or even nuclear war. Some clergy who claimed to have read it hinted it was too terrifying to disclose, describing oceans flooding continents and fire falling from the sky. To this day, many suspect the Vatican is keeping the real text sealed away because its words could shatter faith worldwide. From ancient Rome's Sibylline scrolls to the silenced words of Fatima, humanity has always tried to pierce the veil of time. Are these prophecies just coincidence, or did mystics truly glimpse fragments of our future? One thing is certain. As disasters, wars, and upheavals escalate, these age-old warnings feel less like myths and more like a countdown. So which prophecy do you think is closest to coming true? The Kolbrin's destroyer, Malachi's final pope, or the Third Secret of Fatima? Let me know in the comments, and remember to subscribe.